Something was seriously off. Alaric might not know Violet personally, but he'd heard enough about the stubborn, fiery girl to know this wasn't her. Her feverish movements and intense, almost primal desperation weren't normal at all. His instincts screamed at him to back off and assess the situation, but he couldn't move, not with Violet practically on top of him. "Violet," he said sharply, grabbing her shoulders and forcing her to meet his eyes. "This isn't like you. What's going on? Tell me, what's wrong?" Violet blinked, her eyes glassy and filled with an intensity that made Alaric's stomach churn. Whatever was happening, it wasn't natural. If his lightning was somehow responsible, he had to do something. But what? This was the first time his powers had made someone well. This turned on. Intensely turned on. If she were a werewolf, he'd think she was in heat. "You're right, my prince. Something's wrong with me," Violet finally said, and Alaric's heart skipped a beat. A bad feeling settled over him. His lightning had done this. It was his fault. But then, to his surprise, Violet continued, her voice sultry. "I crave you, hunger for you, burn for you, my prince. But you don't want me. Do you know how much that hurts?" Alaric froze. He knew those words. They were the same words she'd said Asher used on her. Could it be his lightning had somehow messed with Asher's compulsion, making her fixate on him instead? Oh, man. This was bad. As much as he wanted Violet, he couldn't take advantage of her in this state. She didn't even know what she was doing, and he knew she'd hate him when it wore off. He had to get her help. But while Alaric was trying to figure out what to do, Violet reached down and grabbed him through his pants. Alaric nearly jumped out of his skin. The contact sent a jolt straight through him. "Violet!" he groaned, a warning in his voice. He had limits, and when he snapped, there was no going back. But he couldn't do that to her. Not like this. "Why won't you take me, my prince?" Violet pleaded. "I'm yours already. Please, let me burn for you." "I'd gladly let you burn for me if you were in your right mind," Alaric said, trying to pry her hand away. But right now, this would be a disaster. Instead, Violet's grip tightened, and she ground against him. He groaned again, louder this time. "Violet!" She was going to be the death of him. "I don't care, my lightning prince," she purred, "as long as we burn together. Just let me, my prince. Let the lightning guide you." Alaric's self-control was slipping fast. It was too tempting. He could give in and blame it on her being relentless. She'd understand, right? No. He wouldn't let his desires control him. With a burst of willpower, Alaric grabbed Violet's hips and set her on the desk. Then, before she could stop him, he got out of the chair and backed away. "What do you think you're doing?" Violet's voice was full of fury. "Saving you from the shame you'll feel when you come to your senses and realize what you've done," Alaric replied, his voice firm. "You don't want me?" Violet spat, her eyes blazing as she lunged for Alaric. He sidestepped, moving quickly to the other side of the classroom. "Violet, you have to listen," he said, trying to get through to her. "Between Asher's persuasion and my lightning, something's happened. You're not thinking straight." "Apologies, my lightning prince," Violet mocked, defiance dripping from her tone. "But my head's never been clearer." She rushed him again, her movements erratic but determined. And so it began, a game of cat and mouse. Alaric maneuvered around the room, dodging her attempts to grab him, his mind racing for a solution. Frustration twisted Violet's face, and her demeanor changed. She stopped, catching her breath, while Alaric stayed on high alert, waiting for her next move. When she moved, it wasn't to attack. Instead, she started unbuttoning her shirt. The rest of it, anyway. Alaric froze, eyes widening as she shrugged it off her arms, revealing more skin. "Are you really sure, my lightning prince?" Violet asked, her voice a sultry tease. "That you don't like this?" She began massaging her provocatively. "Stop this, Violet! Stop it right now!" Alaric growled. Violet just laughed. Harsh sound. "Why? Because you can't handle it? Maybe we should turn up the heat." She reached for her strap, tugging it down. Before she could remove it, Alaric sprang into action. He grabbed her arm from behind, stopping her, and bent her over the desk. "You've completely lost it," he barked, his voice shaking with anger, frustration, and a dangerous flicker of desire. His whole body trembled. He'd almost lost it. A second later, and he would have given in to the relentless need raging inside him. He was barely holding on. Violet's cruel laughter echoed through the room, sharp and wicked. Even pinned down, she didn't seem defeated. If anything, she seemed to be enjoying it. Or maybe this had been her plan all along. She started moving against him, rocking her body deliberately, and Alaric almost groaned. What kind of devious girl had he gotten involved with? He tightened his grip on her arm and grabbed her hips, trying to still her. "Stop it, Violet!" he commanded, his voice rough with a mix of authority and desperation. Just as the tension hit its peak, voices came from outside the room. "I told you, Roman, this is where he'll be." Alpha Alaric's probably sleeping. The door creaked open, and the voices cut off abruptly. Alaric's head snapped toward the doorway. Roman and his beta stood there, eyes wide, taking in the scene. Violet, bent over the desk half-dressed, looked like she was up to no good. Alaric's position behind her, his hand gripping her tightly, only made things worse. For a beat, the room froze. Nobody breathed. Then, Violet, ever the cunning fox, twisted her head towards Roman. Her voice, a sugary whisper, dripped with fake innocence. "Help me!"
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.